Hello everyone, Alan Stamps here, and today we're going to be talking to Thad Van Tifflin, and he's going to share his amazing story about being in foster care, getting adopted, and his road to forgiveness. Such an amazing story and a resilient brother, and we couldn't do it in a better place than Lolo Bees in Bay City, Michigan. Sit back, have a cup of coffee, and join us in this conversation. It's a real treat. Hey everyone, Alan Stamps here from I Changed My Story. I'm here with Lolo over at Lolo Bees in Bay City, Michigan. And this is my favorite place to go for. They have this lavender drink. It is awesome. And I think Thad is going to have the hot chocolate. He says it's to die for. I might ask him for a sip. I don't know, but he don't know me like that, so he probably won't give me a sip. But anyway, so I'm here with Lolo, and tell me a little bit about Lolo Bees. When did you start?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just hit our 3-year anniversary. We're going to do a little anniversary celebration at the end of this month. But it was basically just me wanting to open a coffee shop since I was in 7th grade, and then finally, when I got together with my fiance, we started looking at the numbers, and we were like, we think we can make this happen.
Yeah.
And Midland Street District has been a great spot for us to be. We've had a lot of great customers with our late night hours around here.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like about this shop is they stay open late. I can come here and get a drink at 7 o'clock. How late are you open?
Yep, we're 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. We got a lot of kids that come in here doing like homework and stuff like that. We also have a lot of events. So there's trivia on Fridays. Tonight there's trivia. Karaoke last Tuesday of the month. There's been book clubs and poetry readings and clothing swaps and garden pop-ups and all kinds of things.
Okay. And so what is your, what was you say your niche is? Every coffee shop has its thing. What would you say your thing is?
Well,
besides the great hours.
Yeah, for sure. I would probably defer to our mission statement. We are here because we want to foster community and culture around a cup of coffee. So there's art for sale on the walls from local artists. There's local vendors that sell their stuff in here. So people bring their passion to the space and share it with other people who share their passion. And I think we really love seeing that, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's community, whether it's conversation, whether it's gathering, creating, whatever. They bring it here and they share it with people who have similar views.
That's awesome. So you're making, what is this lavender drink called?
Okay, so yours is the Honey on the Rocks.
Honey on the Rocks.
Half lemon ginger tea, half lemonade with lavender syrup and honey drizzle. Sounds like it's got a lot of sweetness to it, but it's so balanced.
Right, it is balanced. Yep. And I always come here and I say that lavender drink you make. She knows what I'm talking about. And so the hot chocolate, is that something that you kind of put your own little mojo on to make it special?
A little bit. A couple of our baristas, when they're making it, they're like, Lolo, this is so much chocolate. And I'm like, well, taste it when you're done and tell me if it's too much chocolate.
Right. All right, well, she's going to make the drink, and I'm going to go over here and hang out with Thad until the drinks come, and then we're going to have our conversation. See you then.
Nice to meet you.
All right. What's up, Thad?
Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
You too, brother. So, I'm glad you can make it out, man. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, man.
Yeah.
We go to the same church together.
We do.
I seen you at the Y. And man, when I saw you at the Y and we just had that little 5 or 10 minute, it seemed like we were staying there for a while, but about 10-15 minute conversation, man, I was like, man, I need to know your story. Like, I need to hear that. Yeah. You come from a background where you experienced foster care, and you got adopted, right?
Yep.
But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about what's going on with you now. Like, what's family like?
Yeah,
School, work, what's that like?
Yeah, so
Hot chocolate for you.
Oh, thank you so
thanks,
much.
Lolo.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. So, I mean, right now I am working for Bay City Public Schools. I work at McKenzie Elementary. I'm a paraprofessional. And when I'm not there, I'm coaching soccer in Saginaw with Tri-County Nationals. And giving back to the youth of the community. And then when I'm not there, I am spending time with my lovely wife, Morgan, and my two amazing bunnies, Basil and Benedict.
Okay, you got 2 kids.
Well, 2 bunnies, yeah, 2 bunnies, yeah.
I said kids. You got bunnies, okay. Well, they kind of like kids, you know, pets
They
are like
are.
kids. I got a dog, his name's Jack. He's like a son, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you do on your spare time? Like, what do you like? What do you enjoy?
I enjoy going to the YMCA to work out, like you had said. And then if I'm not doing that, I'm on my bike, my e-bike with my wife. We go on a lot of bike rides with my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Jacob, and his soon-to-be wife, Taylor, which is Morgan's sister.
Okay. So. And do you guys plan on having any kids?
We do. We get this question a lot. We definitely do want to have kids. It's one of those things where we are enjoying our time and traveling and doing all the stuff before we have kids, so then when we do have kids, we can focus more on them.
Okay.
And then travel too some, but like we're really traveling a lot now, so.
Okay. Man, this is so good. You guys got to get this drink, you know, when you come here. This is, oh my God, it's so good.
And this hot chocolate, like I said, to die for. I've been here one time before and I got it then, and I was blown away at how delicious it is, and the chocolate is just right.
Right.
It's not overbearing. It's not not enough chocolate, but it's just perfect.
Yeah.
So.
And hey guys, it's about 90-something degrees out, and my brother over here ordered a hot chocolate, so it's got to be good, right?
Oh, it has to be. Yeah, it is too. It is.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your. Let's start a little bit with how things were growing up.
Okay.
Like before you actually were placed in the foster care. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I was a baby. I was born in San Antonio, Texas. My mom was going through a rough time in her life, so she was using drugs and alcohol. So when I was born, I was immediately taken from her and then placed into the foster care system with my sisters that are 2 years older than I am, and they had already been taken away and placed in the foster care system in Texas. So
so how many siblings do you have?
So I have 2 sisters that are twins, Tanita and Tamika, and then myself, and then that's from our immediate family. And then when I was adopted is when I joined a family of 21.
21, okay.
Yes, 18 adopted and 3 biological children.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids, and he's going to get into how that all worked out, you know. He told me a little bit about that. We're probably going to get into that too. Let me ask you something. Did you know that, let me ask you, was your adoptive parents, were they white, black?
Yeah, so my adoptive parents were white. And then their, of course, biological children were white as well. Okay, so you knew you were different because of the racial thing. Did you feel at any point in your childhood that you were kind of separated from your original, like your caregiver, your mom? What did that feel like? Yeah, so there was a time in like school where, like elementary school, where, you know, I realized that my skin tone doesn't match my parents' skin tone.
Right.
And then I really, you know, questioned like about my biological family. I asked my mom what my biological mother's name is, and my biological father, which she only knew my mom's name. So growing up, like I knew my mom's name was Rhonda McClure. And it was just all a matter of like maybe when I turned 18 to be an adult, I could find her. And literally, there's a story behind that. I don't want to jump right into it. But.
Did you always, like, as a kid, did you always have that thing in you where you wanted to be reunified with your mom?
Oh yeah.
That was like
growing up. I loved my biological family, but like in my adoptive family, I loved them to death. But growing up, I knew like. Because I wanted to see what my bloodline is like, and like and medically, like, will I grow into having something medically wrong with me? Like, I wanted to know the like, what's my life going to be like? What are my parents like? What are my aunts and uncles, nephews? If I have nephews, cousins, you know.
Right.
So.
And was there any kind of like separation anxiety you had growing up as a kid? Was there kind of like a lot of depression, or did you adapt well? Like, did you,
I mean,
what was that like?
I adapted good. Like, obviously, like I had said, like, I knew that I was different from my adoptive parents. You know, and when it came to like seeing other families in public, I saw that, like, the mom, dad with their kids, and I'm like, man, I want to, you know, they match, you know, they fit perfectly in the puzzle, where I felt as if I was a little, like, I didn't fit in the puzzle.
Right.
But I'm like, no dissing of my parents, but I just knew that
you just because was it because the skin tone was different, you know, just stuff like that. And did you grow up in a town? What was the town like? Was it like predominantly white, or was it mixed? Or
it was predominantly white. There was a few families that had adopted kids of like that were African American. So whenever I'd see them out in public, like, we sort of kind of connected a little bit. But the town that I grew up in was predominantly white, and the school that I went to was predominantly white as well.
So, growing up as a young black child in a predominantly white community with white foster parents, did you feel that the foster parents understood your needs as a black kid? Like, I'm talking about like your hair, lotion, just, you know what I'm saying? Did you feel like that they understood your needs?
I don't think they did, and no fault to them. I mean, they took care of me, and they you know, helped me grow up into a, you know, successful man. But as far as like my hair, like what to use for that, like the cocoa butter, I didn't know that cocoa butter is used by every African American. Like, it's very popular, but I didn't know that stuff. I didn't know. You know, whenever I get my hair cut, I get it shaved right off. I wouldn't get I wouldn't go to a barber and get it like waves or you know, cornrows or anything like that. It was just
shave it right off.
But then you have 20 other kids in the family, so it's like, I get it. Like, to save money, they just shaved up my head off, or my hair off. So.
And so you said that you kind of knew your biological family. How was that? Were you able to visit your biological family sometimes, or when did you get to know them, or who they were? Like,
so
when did you meet them?
My sisters, I had mentioned I had sisters. They are 2 years older than me, and I knew my name, or my biological mother's name, as well as them. So the minute they turned 18, they went onto Facebook and typed in Rhonda McClure, and like 50 Facebook profiles popped up, and they went one by one to every profile. And honestly, they were at that point where they were going to give up. And my sister Tamika was like, just one more. And she clicked on it, and then she started scrolling through it, and she's like, oh, this sort of kind of looks like me. But really what gave it away was she found a post saying, happy birthday, Danye, which is my biological name. That is the name I was born with. And I can't believe you are 16, happy birthday. And so they saw that post, and they instantly knew right away that that was her. And so they reached out, and then literally the next day I got like 1 million friend requests from people in Texas saying that they were my biological family and that they wanted to get to know me.
At 16 years old.
Yeah, but I couldn't meet them. I couldn't meet them until I was 18 because, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so I had to wait.
Why couldn't you meet them? Was it because your foster parents, or was it because the powers that be? Like,
it's the powers that be. It's like you have to become an adult. But the minute I turned 18, I accepted my biological mom's request on Facebook, my Aunt Nikki's request, my Uncle Mark, my aunt,
just Aunt
Landry accepted all of them.
Yeah.
And like with my sisters being older than me, they were able to go and visit before I was.
Okay.
When they turned 18, they went down to San Antonio and Houston, and they visited my family then.
Okay.
But I had to wait, of course. But
okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And so tell me a little bit about growing up with 20, how many?
21.
21 kids. There had to be some challenges. Whatever challenges you feel comfortable with, telling us, but what were some of those challenges that, growing up there?
Growing up with 21 siblings, I loved my siblings. We were always outside. We were always playing like football, basketball, hockey.
It wasn't hard to get a game together.
Yeah, it was not hard to get a game together. But like whenever we'd play, we were very like serious about it. We played for, most people play for fun, but we played for bragging rights at our family. But growing up with them, like I knew that I would never be able to get that one-on-one attention with my mom and dad, because there's 20 other siblings fighting for their attention. So like I sort of kind of like pushed myself back. Like I was one of 21, so like it was sort of kind of hard to get that attention. And honestly, I think that's why when I talk to you and like when I talk to anybody, I give my utmost attention, because I knew, like back then, I didn't get it, and no fault to my parents.
Right.
It's just so many other siblings, but like I strive to be attentive and to really pay attention to what the person I'm talking to is saying, because I know I didn't get that growing up, and I know how I felt. I felt, left out. I felt, sad. I wouldn't say depressed. But there was definitely times where I needed to talk to my parents, but there was just so much going on that I wasn't able to.
They were spread thin, very thin.
In which I confided in my sisters, Tamika and Tanita, because we were all adopted at the same time, and so I was able to do that. And they sort of kind of took on that role of, like an older sister guardianship kind of deal. Like they had my best interest, and they listened to me.
And so your siblings were with you. They adopted, and see, that's so important. If you're an adoptive parent, and I'm not trying to persuade you guys to do it one way or the other, but if you can adopt the siblings and everybody together, that's so helpful. And Thad just, mentioned that, that's that, that bond and that they need, as siblings together growing up. So that's what's up. So at what point did you figure out why you were adopted? Like what? You didn't know she was a drug addict when you was a baby.
No,
right?
I did not. No, I did not.
So were you on a quest to find out why and found out, or was it a fluke, accident? Like, how did that happen?
So I was in my like early teens, but like growing up, my biological. I shouldn't say biological. My adoptive mom, she would say stuff like, like your mom couldn't have you and your sisters because she was on drugs and alcohol, and like the state took you away. So like she pretty much like told me as to why we were taken away. And then when I was old enough to go and meet my biological mom, I asked like what happened, and she told me like she was going through a rough time. She lost someone that was really important to her in the family. And so she had turned to drugs and alcohol, and then that ultimately led to us getting taken away.
And how did that conversation change how you, or did it change how you saw your mom? Were you like angry at first with your mom a little bit?
I was actually not because I understand. Like we go through so much in life, and I've lost friends of mine that have been really close with me, and the downward spiral that it affects on people when you lose someone you love. So like I was not mad. I understanding, but I knew that we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I was able to just look past what had happened, and just be happy that my mom's in my life now.
Right. So you so when she told you her story and how she got on the drugs and everything, Did that give you more compassion for her, knowing what she went through?
Yeah.
Not that it was a good excuse, I made everything right, but it made you feel more compassion.
Yeah, and it made me, I was just happy that, because so many times adoptive, children, when they try to reconnect with their family, it can be negative, and I was just so happy that my mom was willing to accept me and my sisters and just love on me. Even though I had gone several years without seeing her ever since I was a baby, that love that I felt when I gave her a hug and stuff, like it was like I hadn't missed a beat. So,
wow, that's awesome. And so, how did you guys cultivate that relationship and rebuild it? What was that like?
So after I had learned of where my biological mom was and have gone and visited with my sisters, I made it a goal and mission of mine to just visit once or twice a year after that. And so Morgan and I, we love to travel, like I was saying, and we've been able to travel for the last 4 or 5 years to Texas to build that relationship. And not only just me, but my wife as well. That's really important. I want her to love my wife as much as I love my wife. And my family has fully accepted Morgan. They love her to death, more than me, I feel sometimes. But they
he didn't say that, Morgan.
but they do love her, and they've accepted her. And so that's that.
That's awesome. So getting down to accepting your past for what it was, what was your process of that? Like, how did you come to just accept it for what it was and not bring that past experience into relationships moving forward, or anything else?
Growing up, I knew of my biological mother through my adopted mother, and I knew that, she was on drugs and alcohol. And when I got to meet her and I got to really get to know her story and why she did what she did, growing up, I was in this group at Lakers High School, and it was for leaders, and we learned that, everybody's journey is different. But we have to show empathy, we have to show sympathy, we have to be willing to accept what is going on in the current situation and just accept it, And once you accept that, once I accepted that, like I was able to move forward. Obviously, like we're all human, we're not perfect. And I think that leadership group that I was in at Laker High School was just a massive help in understanding how I can look past what went on when, my mom gave birth to me and what happened after that.
So acceptance is kind of I'm listening to what your life was in while you were adopted and everything, and you had a lot of even though there was 21 kids there, you still had some parents that would kind of teach you stuff along the way as you grew up, and that you can digest some of that stuff, because I'm sure they didn't tell you that your mother was a drug addict at 5 years old.
No.
They waited until, until you were mature enough. So you had that, what would you tell someone that didn't have that? And it just, they never knew anything, still don't know anything. How do you get to the point where you can get to a point where you're accepting things, life on life's terms, the way things are, and moving on? How would you? I think growing up with my family being so big, I was able to see so many different, we were all siblings, but we all were going down different paths of different occupations, different situations, living in different states. And I was able to just really, chat with them. Because if I wouldn't have known that my mom was a drug addict and stuff like that, it was always in my mind that,
you know, I wanted to meet her, good, bad, whatever it was, you know. And, you know, I think I went into that situation with an open mind. So being open-minded.
Being open-minded, that's a big thing.
That's my biggest thing, is to be open-minded, because, you know, once you're open-minded, you can sort of kind of brace yourself for, like I said, the good, the bad, you know, and it's you gave it a try. You know, if things didn't go the way you wanted to, you know, go, you gave it a try.
So basically, leave your expectations at the door. Like, don't carry your expectations around because if someone falls short of that expectation, or you don't hear something you think you could accept.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like what happened with me and my mom, you know, when I first aged out of foster care. And, you know, she was telling me why I was in care. I kind of knew the drugs and the alcohol played a huge role, but I wanted to know why that came first before me, you know. And when she would try to explain addiction, and she was still in her addiction at the time when I caught up with her, it just, none of it made sense. She was high, she was, you know, and stuff like that. And that was, the last time I talked to her was, we just had this big blow up and I cussed her out and all that, and she passed away. And that was the last time I talked to her. You know, 2 years later, I found out she passed away and wasn't even able to get to the funeral. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you guys, you got to live with that. You know, when you have resentment in your heart and, you know, you're not willing to address that and look at that and deal with that, you can walk away in a situation like I did, and you have to deal with forgiveness without that person being there, which is difficult to do, you know. So that brings us to the forgiveness part. Did you forgive the situation? It sounded like you did, but you could tell us, did you forgive her wholeheartedly? You know, and at what point did you do that? Was it at the conversation, or was it later on? Work on it?
I definitely forgave her, but a lot of why I forgave her is due to, like, being close with God, you know.
Tell us.
Jesus, when he was living on this earth, and, you know, he got treated like absolute garbage, you know, and he was being crucified. He didn't cuss the guys or the people that were doing it, you know. He just said, you know, he cried out to God and said, God, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing, you know. So if he can forgive, you know, the people that hurt him the most, and he's the only perfect person to walk this earth, I can forgive my mom.
And what does forgiveness mean to you? What does that mean?
I mean, forgiveness is just being able to accept that we can't change things, that we're going to move on, that we're going to show our love through, you know, God. You know, God says for his children to love one another. So I'm going to love her. I'm going to, I don't want to bring up the past, because the past is in the past, right? You know, and just move forward and, you know, grow my relationship with her and the rest of the family.
Yeah, so basically, I always say it in a nutshell, that forgiveness is just letting it go.
Yeah.
You know, you just choose, and that's a choice you make. And a lot of times, like with myself, I chose to let it go without the emotions of doing it, catching up. Like, I didn't have to feel happy first. As a matter of fact, I was still angry when I made a decision to let it go. And I had to work on forgiveness all the time. And, you know, guys, forgiveness is not something that we get to do, you know, once, especially in a situation like this, because there's triggers that happen that remind us of our past and stuff like that, and it triggers an emotion, and it might trigger a negative one. So you always have to go back and remind yourself that you let it go. You might have to let it go over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Until it gets better and better and better. But, you know, at some point in your life, something is going to trigger you, and you have to go back and remind yourself that you let it go so you can be free. you know.
Exactly.
And so what would you suggest to someone who left foster care at age 18 years old? They were never able to see their parents. They were, you know, because the powers that be said you can never, you know, as long as you're in care, you can't call your parents, you can't, nothing. How do you... All right, guys, we're back. So the battery died on us, so I had to throw another one in there right quick. But I was asking Thad, what are some suggestions he would have for someone that's aging out of foster care and they want to go track down their biological parents and do that reunification thing? So what would you suggest they do to prepare for that?
Yeah, so I was able to just talk to my brother Ezra, and he was going through the similar thing of finding his biological family. And he did, I think it's 23andMe, and he was able to identify some of his relatives that live in Detroit, because he also lives in Detroit.
Okay.
And like when we were talking, he had said that, you know, I'm going to this Kroger, and what if my biological family goes to this Kroger? So he was just like really eager to really learn who his family is. So he did one of those 23andMe's, and then he was able to find names, like they had names and stuff, and he was able to move on, meeting his biological family through that. Okay. And now his grandma, who he remembers as a young kid, he says he remembers loving his grandma so much. And when he had met her, she's like, I never gave up looking for you. You know, it was really a cool story.
Yeah.
One that means a lot to him, and one I'm sure that means a lot to his family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're able to, you know, do a 23andMe or, you know, do a service like that where they can, you know, link you to people, I would highly recommend it, because, you know, or even if you know the name, go on social media, you know, like my sisters did.
So 23andMe, is that like an app or kind of like a
I think
something?
it's like it's I don't know if I don't want to say it wrong, but it's pretty much something that helps you identify like people that could potentially be relatives.
Okay, like a website.
Yeah, like a website, pretty much.
What do you suggest? So you mentioned being open-minded.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things that a person should work on internally to prepare themselves to meet their biological parents if they've never met them before?
So what I recommend is going in open-minded, go in, you know, like with a heart that's soft, because if you go in hard, it's not going to end up well. But if you soften your heart and if you forgiveness is a huge thing. So if you can prepare yourself to forgive, you know, like we can't control other people's lives, or we can't control the narrative, but you can, or other people's narrative, but you can control your own. So go in there with an open heart. Go in there with the can-do attitude that I'm gonna be in my biological family's lives, and they'll be in mine, and hopefully you guys will be able to grow a relationship from that, like I have with my mom and my aunts and uncles. So,
yeah. What would you suggest a youth do if things don't go well in that meeting?
You know,
and they don't hear the answers that they want.
So, like I said, if you go in with an open mind, you know, if you don't hear the answers that you want or what you thought you were gonna hear, just know that you gave it your all. You know, you went out, you did something that takes a lot of courage.
Right.
It takes a lot of courage.
a lot.
Because you don't know if they're gonna accept or reject you. But if you go in there and they don't give you the answer you want to hear, just know that you gave it your all. And that's sort of what I did. Like I said, I went in open-minded. If it went good, I was really excited. But if it went bad, I gave it my shot. You know, gave it a shot.
You gave it a shot. So what are you doing nowadays for the foster care community besides stuff like this, or some things that you've thought of that you might want to do in the future?
You know, I think being able to connect with the kids at the school I work at, like, you know, I see their home lives. I hear their stories, and so I am an ear to listen to. Like, I listen. I talk with the kids. If they want to open up to me, I talk with them. And so my goal is just be open with the community and be an ear, a listening ear. So
yeah. Okay. And what legacy would you like to leave? You know, when you go home to be with Christ, what do you want to leave here? What kind of impact do you want to leave on this earth before you?
My impact that I would love to leave is I just love to like Jesus loved. I want to love people. Yeah. I love people. I truly
and he
do.
does. He does.
I truly love people. My wife often calls me the hype man that nobody asked for, but I just want I want people to see God's love through me, and so that's my legacy. I want to leave that behind.
Yeah. All right, man. Thad, man. I love you, brother, man. I appreciate your smile, man. I appreciate what you bring to the table here today. Anything else you want to leave with the folks that's listening?
I just want to thank you guys for listening to my story, and I love the name. I changed my story because without people like Aylin, I want to say it correctly, Aylin. My story would never have been told. I sort of kind of keep it hush hush, but since you had to ask me, I was like, you know what, I'll share it.
Yes.
Because I want people to know, but like I was waiting for my timing, and I think when you came to me, that was God saying that it's time. But thank you for listening to my story. Love people, love God, and God bless.
All right, that'll do it for us, man. And we're gonna sit back and enjoy our drinks and do what we do, but we appreciate you coming by, and we love y'all. Peace.
See ya.
All right. Thanks for watching this episode of I Changed My Story. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We would love to hear from you. And as always, if you know of someone that you think I should have a cup of coffee with, please send them my way. You can email me at alinstamps@gmail.com.